It's quite surprising actually. I had been on a business trip in Toronto. Joyce was at the airport to pick me up that evening. Everything was fine. We got off the flight, back to the house, watched TV. The next morning it was like waking up next to a piece of cardboard. She couldn't move from the neck down. It was no movement at all. I had to pry her up. There was a great deal of pain, and at that time it struck me that something was definitely wrong, and something had to be done, and we were off to the hospital.
18 years. I was diagnosed when I was 33 years old. I have two sons. My youngest at the time was 3 and my oldest was 13.
The arthritis that she has affected every joint in her body, basically from her jaw to her toes, have been affected by this crippling disease. And she has been laid up with it severely at times, and now has come back tremendously, has made a great recovery off of this.
Dr. Canvan was the rheumatologist I had then at the time. She had said to me that you are inflamed from your jaw to your toes, and she said, you look like a giant marshmallow. You're so swollen and sore. Every joint in your body is affected, and it's a very severe case. I'm going to be putting you on a combination therapy of medications, and in 2 weeks you will have to decide whether or not, based on the medications you are being given, if you want to have any more children. She had never seen a more aggressive form of the rheumatoid arthritis, and she was going to be more aggressive in my care.
The first reaction was would have been denial, if anything, once I found out Joyce had arthritis. The thing was that I'd married a vibrant young lady. She was healthy, vibrant, young, mobile, and I just couldn't believe this was happening to us.
When my 13-year-old son, when I was initially diagnosed, came home crying and said that a teacher told him that arthritis couldn't be that bad, your mom must have something like cancer. And he was terrified when he came in and said that. And he said, you're going to die now, aren't you? It's not arthritis you have, it's cancer. And that's when I realized I had to take this in control and try and show my family that you can live a full life with arthritis. Oh, they've all had to help me. You know, some days are just better than others. And I think it really just makes you reflect on the fact that, you know, as a family, we all pitch in and help each other. And so compassion and caring, and, you know, they're good kids.
It was like a complete different woman in the house, you know, trying to look after things, and it was impossible. My work was taking up my time. It was hard to spend enough time with the kids, otherwise I'd be falling behind at work, and we were kind of rising on the way up as far as the ladder goes with the companies I'd worked with. And we wanted to make sure that everything was stable for the family and everything was in place. So it was a big adjustment, very difficult. However, we made the transition. We made it together and as a family.
My disease in the beginning was out of control for the first 8 years. I had the surgery to my neck, and I also, in an 18-month time frame, had both my hips totally replaced because of the impact of the arthritis on my joints. And I was in the hospital for a week on each of my hips and also on my neck, and I was given full range of motion. The combination therapies have changed over the 18 years. For the first 8 years, my disease was so out of control that some of the medications I had to take in the beginning would take up to 6 months to find out that they weren't effective. That was harder on my family than it was on me, because they could see a glimmer of who I used to be when I was in that much pain, because they'd think the medications were starting to work and I'd look a little better, and they'd be hopeful, only to be told by my doctors that the medications weren't working and I was having side effects with them, that we would have to stop that medication, whatever it was, and start on something else completely new all over again. I take a combination therapy daily. I take about 12 pills a day, depending on if I need painkillers, my Tylenol 3s or whatever. I'm also on a biologic that I have a weekly injection. And I'm also on another medication that is better absorbed now if I have it injected as well. So I have 2 injections a week on top of the daily meds. Pretty much, there wasn't anything that in my day-to-day activities that wasn't affected with my arthritis, because from the moment I got up, I was swollen, stiff, and sore. Just getting out of bed, getting dressed, being able to brush my teeth, eating, feeding, taking care of 2 children at the time was incredibly difficult. I couldn't lift a cup of coffee, let alone try and take care of my kids. I got the first injection on the Tuesday, and went home, and literally that night I could for the first time start feeling, it felt like the cotton was coming out of my head, because the pain was just draining right out of me. Within 48 hours, I met my home care worker at the front door, and I was dressed and standing and ready to go. And at the time I said, if I knew how to tap dance, I would tap dance right now. The woman couldn't believe that I was the same person. I had literally no pain. And she said, sit down, you're gonna hurt yourself, and be careful. And I was like, I have no pain, I can move, I can get up, and I haven't looked back since. And that was 11 years ago. Well, my entire family has been. My kids have both grown up with me living with this on a day-to-day basis. They understand it in a way that we don't really usually talk about it all that much, because they recognize that, mom's tired today, mom's in a brain fog because of her pills or medication, or her disease is incredibly active. In 2003, we, as a family, decided, based on the research and the new medication I had been a part of, to support Joints in Motion.
That was a Marathon for Hope in Belgium. It was ran in Flanders Fields. I thought it was now time for me to give back. The only way I could see giving back is I'd talk to people that had been involved in raising funds, and it came up that the Arthritis Society had a marathon that was available. And that was when I decided that I would try to raise some money for research by going into a marathon. Mom was she was one of the ones, she was a strong force behind it. She was definitely on board with it and helped out a tremendous amount with arranging things with sponsors and people that were getting on board to support us. Definitely one of the strongest people that I've ever met. I mean, it's so easy when something happens to you that you can just kind of roll over and give up. That was something that your mother, I don't think it was even in her mind. She found ways to fight this and to actually help other people out through it. Very strong, remarkable what she has done. With a setback, she's turned into a definite positive for many people out there.
The only thing I can say is now is the best time to be living with arthritis. And I'm so grateful to have been given, it's become a gift for me in a way that it sounds crazy to be given a chronic disease, have it, live it. People don't understand it, but I wouldn't have the life I have now without this disease. I wouldn't have met the fantastic people I've met and had the opportunity to work with so many. So it's really been a gift.